Good morning, everyone. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Logan.
And welcome to the Connection, our biweekly newscast brought to you by the broadcast media students at ATC.
Test.
Fine, over and over.
Today is Thursday, October 19th, and over these past 2 weeks, we've been working hard to gather stories from schools across the Louis-Riel School Division, haven't we, Brendan?
Absolutely, Logan. The Unified Games is an event where students come together to play ultimate rugby. The goal is to give students an opportunity to learn new skills, meet new people, and compete in a positive environment. Braden has more on the story.
We're here at Maple Grove Rugby Park for the Unified Games, a multi-school ultimate rugby tournament with students integrated from programs across Manitoba high schools.
This year, the event was comprised of 14 teams from 6 Manitoba high schools. Students competed as teams of 10 in friendly competition. Everyone's a winner, as the event is designed to encourage cooperation and teamwork between students. Participants are enjoying the event as it allows them to interact with peers from other classes and schools that they normally wouldn't.
You get to talk to people and instead of going to school and doing work and that kind of stuff.
I think I've gained a lot of experience with working with the kids. I really love seeing their faces when they start playing, because just their experience, like when we were practicing before, they didn't seem as into it as they have been now since we've been playing with them. And I think it really brings them together, and I've gained a lot of friends through this as well. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Ultimate Rugby is played using a combination of skills from Ultimate Frisbee and Rugby. Chris Marinelli says that in the coming years, they will look to change the event to be more rugby-focused.
Changed it around, modified it a little bit to incorporate 2 versions of the game, of Ultimate Frisbee and Rugby. But it's a good, what we'd like to do is change it, I think, for next year, make it a little bit more into the rugby aspect.
The event is a pilot for Rugby Canada and is being used to increase interest in the sport of rugby in young people. Co-op ed teacher Chris Enns says that the Unified Games are a great way for students to learn new skills and develop friendships with classmates in a positive atmosphere.
We see a lot of students making connections with classmates of different types, so connecting with students, promoting just a kind of a healthy atmosphere for kids to learn and grow and develop, and watching that kind of evolve over a few weeks' time has been really, really powerful.
Up until this year's Unified Games, co-op education students have participated in their own sports tournament programming. With the school division's priorities of citizenship and engagement in mind, the Unified Games are an excellent way to bring students together. In the coming months, the co-op ed programs from across the Louis-Riel School Division are looking to put on other events such as handball and unified soccer. At Maple Grove Rugby Park, for The Connection, I'm Braden Augustine.
More big news coming from Dakota Collegiate. On October 7th, students, parents, and administration celebrated the opening of a new basketball court. It was part of a huge project undertaken by the community that also included a turf sports field, bleachers, and stadium lights. Administration is welcoming the new court as another area that will give staff and students more places to teach, learn, and enjoy. Principal Jill Mathey, Teacher Dean Favoni, and other school administration were on hand to cut the ribbon and pronounce the surface open for all to use. One guest at the event was Dale Bradshaw, longtime Dakota basketball coach and member of the Manitoba Basketball Hall of Fame. Dakota teacher Dean Favoni says that the court is another part of the sports complex that will do a lot for Dakota students and the people of the community.
It's a field. It's the outdoor basketball court that we're celebrating here today with Dale Bradshaw. It's the cricket batting cage. The entire complex is just going to do a lot for the people and the students and athletes in this community.
This past week, Nelson McIntyre Collegiate provided chances for its students to be exposed to topics, careers, and ideas that are new to them. The special program allowed grade 9 and 10 students to experience possible careers outside the confines of NMC. Weeks Without Walls, or Intensive Theme Weeks, is a chance for students to be exposed to topics, careers, and ideas that are new to them. Students will learn from outside experts about potential careers in these industries. Film production is one of these intensive themes students can learn about. The theme is an introduction to filmmaking techniques. Students will learn how to write, produce, and edit different types of video.
looks like they're doing a variety of things. They're working in groups on different projects using the different technologies, developing different film ideas. It's got a very production side feel to it. They get right into every aspect, the directing, the editing, the costuming.
Weeks Without Walls is offered as part of career development at Nelson Mac. This event will be offered 3 times this year. These excursions, along with the project work and the reflection progress, can lead to a career development credit.
So this is videography, where we learn about making short films and just learn about editing and all that. So right now we're making a horror kind of short film about a mannequin that kills people. So yeah, that's what we're learning about right now. We'll learn acting skills, that's for sure, because we have to know like when to be serious on act. Like we can't just always be laughing. So that's one thing we gotta learn.
And now, moving on to entertainment. A broadcast media student at ATC has been nominated for a Latin Grammy. Here's Luisa Isidro with more on the information on this subject.
I am at ATC, where one of the international students of the broadcast media program is being part of the 18th Latin Grammy nomination for the Best Tropical Fusion Album with Coletera by the Colombian band Colectro. Santiago Castro is known as the audio guy by his broadcast media classmates of ATC. Santiago is a Colombian musician and audio producer. In his country, he worked as recording and mixing engineer for an independent record label called Tamboro Records. A few days ago, they found out about the nomination.
It was a surprise for all of us. We did a good job. I mean, we put all our soul into it, and we were trying to create a great album to capture that moment for the band, but we never expected to be nominated, so it was a huge surprise for all of us.
Santiago says the Colombian band's nomination was due to infusing new sounds into traditional music.
What they're working on is what we call the new Colombian sound, the new Colombian music. So they take music that's traditional from us in Colombia, specifically from the Colombian Caribbean coast, and they mix that with African sounds, with rock and roll music, and some things from electronic music.
This Colombian musician feels they have a good shot at winning.
Sound is about exploration. You cannot just rely on the things that have been done before. You have to keep pushing forward. So just be innovative, keep being original, find your own path, and keep going on.
Well, we wish the best luck to Santiago, the band, and of course the record label. They will find out if they won on November 16 in Las Vegas. At ATC for The Connection, this is Luisa Isidro.
École Saint-Germain has installed a new berm in their schoolyard for students and the community to enjoy. The berm was installed back in September, and it's soon to be the first winter season where school administration says students can't seem to wait for the snow to fall. The Parent Advisory Council has been exploring potential ideas to improve the schoolyard for its students and surrounding community. The administration hopes to see students using the berm for their winter activities. Every grade from K to 5 have a number of toboggans available for students to play during the winter recess. St. Germain's Vice Principal David Charney says students understand how to be safe on the berm and tend to spend as much time as possible on it.
They're loving it. It's from 8 o'clock in the morning when some of them show up for school, right through till the end of the day when they're waiting for their daycares after school. So the kids are loving it. They're running up and down, like I say, rolling and doing it in a safe way. So it's working out perfectly.
The story about Anne Frank is one most Canadians know about. Students at Glen Law Collegiate are getting the opportunity to learn more about her story through an exhibit. With more on this report, here's Ben Strempler.
This past Monday at Glen Lawn Collegiate, students had the opportunity to go to the library and find something unexpected. The high school will be hosting an educational exhibit centered on Anne Frank. Provided by the Anne Frank Museum in Amsterdam, this display of interest contains 32 separate panels illustrating the story and political climate in the time of Anne Frank.
It's to inform other people who don't really know much about Anne Frank, or the people who know about Anne Frank but doesn't really know to the extent of what happened. It's to educate people who just want to know more about the Holocaust and everything else.
A group of over 30 students are trained to be responsible for guiding visitors through the exhibit. This is a part of the museum's initiative to tell Anne Frank's story to as many people as possible. They hope that her story will inspire people to understand the world and respect each other.
I think it's a really great opportunity to help people gain knowledge of the history in World War II, and I think it's also really important to reflect on that stuff. So of course we don't end up repeating it, and I think that's an important thing in really any sort of history that you're being taught about.
This event will run here at Glen Lawn until November 16th. At Glen Lawn, for The Connection, I'm Ben Strempler.
5, 4, 3. Provencher School is excited for their new yard enhancement that will finish in October. There was a huge amount invested into upgrading their schoolyard. The transformed schoolyard was primarily cement, but now it has some extra for the kids, like equipment, trees, and shrubs. Some of the money for the project came from grants, while the rest came from the parents in the community working hard to raise the rest. Phase 1 will be complete within 2 weeks, including swings, a grass soccer field for the students, a zip line, and other equipment pieces.
We are so lucky to have a zip line because we've never had one, and I feel like we're the only school who gets to have one, and I really like zip lines, and I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun on it, same with the other kids. I'm so happy that we get a new drop shot for grade 1s and kindergartens.
They are planning for the grand opening in the upcoming weeks, and the field is ready for students to play.
Currently, the Phase 1, again, $200,000, and Phase 2 is in that same ballpark in terms of price. We're planning our grand opening, but as you can see, there's been some delays. We're expecting to be able to have something official in the next 2 weeks.
Well, that's all the news we have for today, but let's pitch it over to our good friend Santiago for your sports update.
Hello everyone, the past couple of weeks were filled with very exciting sporting events all across our division. Our ATC broadcasting team was right there streaming the games live. Last week we covered several games at the Investors Group Field, and on October 5th we went live from the Dakota Collegiate to cover the home opener of the Murray Field between the Dakota Lancers and the Sizzler Spartans. Here are the highlights.
With it already 7-3 for Sizzler, they punched through the Dakota defensive line to put up another touchdown. Sizzler will also tack on the field goal to add the extra point 14-3 in the third quarter. Late in the third quarter, Sizzler scores another touchdown to add their lead 20-3 in favor for Sizzler. Again, Sizzler opts for the field goal to make it 21-3. In the fourth quarter, Dakota's quarterback Reed Van Conet fumbles the ball but collects it himself and finds a receiver deep in the field as the receiver is taken down at the 1-yard line. Dakota will then punch the ball through the Sizzler defense for the first time ever touchdown at Murray Field, making this a 21-10 football game. With 2 minutes left in the fourth, Van Conet finds the receiver Aliou Cisse wide open in the end zone, bringing Dakota back into the game, 21-16. After the Sizzlers' offensive drive and only a minute left in the game, the Lancers pass deep into the end zone with a wide open receiver, bringing them to the lead 22-21, and they add the 2-point convert to bring their lead up to 24-21. After the Dakota punt, Sizzler's Tyler Koniak returned almost 90 yards, running completely around the Dakota defense and ultimately scoring 27-24, heartbreaking Dakota to win their first ever game at the Murray Field. Our on-field reporter, Trent Brown, had an interview with the head coach of Dakota, Ray Jarvis.
How do you think the team played today?
Well, you know, the first half wasn't particularly the greatest half that we've shown. We could do a lot better, but you got to admit that second half was a lot of fun, and towards the end of the game there, we were right in it, and the boys gutted it out towards the end.
Volleyball had very interesting games over the last 2 weeks. On October 14th, we had the St. Vital Invitational Varsity Boys Tournament Finals at Dakota Collegiate.
We begin with the third place match between the River East Kodiaks and St. Paul's High School Crusaders. During the first 2 sets, the Kodiaks took the advantage by scoring 25-22 on the first set, and then 26-24 on the second. It was all or nothing for the third set, and the Crusaders felt the pressure. The game was decided with a match point where a mistake by the Crusaders sent the ball out of field and gave the victory to the Kodiaks, who took the third place of the tournament. Later on, it was the game for the championship between the Lord Selkirk Royals and the Marquette University High School Hilltoppers. It was a very intense game that took 4 full sets and showed the abilities of both teams. The Hilltoppers won the first set with a difference of 25-17, but the Royals were not going to take it. After the first set, the Royals started to show their true gameplay. With a fast and aggressive offense, the Royals were able to win the 3 following sets and the victory as the Invitational Tournament champions.
On Monday this week, the volleyball games continued at Windsor Park. This time both boys and girls games took place. Here are the highlights of the games.
The Royals were hoping to get a good start in this one, but it was all Westgate. In the first set, Westgate dominated the Royals 25-5. The Royals tried to rally back late in the set but could not clinch the win. In the second set, the Wings again took control of the game and only gave up 9 points to the Royals to claim the second set as well. 25-9 is the final set too. Westgate needed just 1 more set to win this match. We pick it up in the third set, with the score 7-5 for the Wings, when the Royals get within 1. Windsor Park manages to put this one over the net, and the Wings struggle to return it back over. It's a single point for Windsor Park, and they are now within 1. But it just wasn't meant to be for the Royals. The Wings went on to take the set and match with a 25-17 point win. Westgate with a 3-0 sweep of Windsor Park. The Royals were hoping to win the boys' match, but again it was all Westgate. In the first game, the Wings dominated, leading 24-15. Windsor Park struggled to keep this one in bounds. Chalk up another point for the Wings and a first set victory. In the second set, there were many great rallies between both teams. The Royals were returning the hard hits from Westgate, but the Wings were just too tough. Once again, they managed to win the set by 25-14. Picked it up in the third set with the score 23-13 for the Wings. The Royals managed to get the point by some strong defense. The Wings had a 10-point lead at one point in this one, but in the end, Westgate dominated Windsor Park in the final set, 25-14. Westgate with a 3-0 sweep of Windsor Park.
Moving now on to hockey, the CJS Olympians played against the Westgate Wings last Tuesday at the Jonathan Taves Community Center. This was the first game for the CJS on this season, who managed to win the game 6-1.
We picked it up in the first period with number 7, Christian Hines, scoring the first goal of the CJS's season. Moving on to the second period, at just over 2 minutes in, number 7 swings it around and scores to make it 2-0 CJS. A few minutes later, Austin Leonard sneaks the puck into the net to make the score 3-0. In a sudden breakaway, Leonard again tries to sneak the puck into the net but is denied by the Wolverines. With 5 minutes remaining in the second period, Wolverines number 14 lifts the puck into the net, but it's met with some discussion amongst the referees, who eventually confirm it was a goal. In the heat of the action, number 21, Austin Leonard takes the puck from one end of the rink to another, scoring another goal for the CJS Olympians, making the score 4-1. Finally, the third period sees Austin Leonard sneak another goal into the Wolverines' net. Then, 2 minutes later, Julien Chenier scores another goal, making the score 6-1 CJS. A few more attempts were made finishing off the third period, but none were successful. CJS coach Mario De Marre says he's excited for the upcoming season, seeing how well the first game went.
I look forward to just having a good season with the guys. We've got a good group of kids, and we're thinking that they're gonna, really click and hopefully continue this trend. I mean, I know we're not gonna win them all, but we hope we win more than we lose.
And now here are the scores for last week's games. That this was what we're Seems that this was all for sports this time. Remember that the ATC broadcasting team will be covering sporting events all across our division and streaming them live on our YouTube channel lrsd.tv. Be sure to check it out. Now back to Brendan and Logan at the news desk.
Interesting things have been happening for the students of the broadcast media program. 5 students had the opportunity to work in the industry. Tommy, Santiago, and Graham worked at the Investors Group field covering the Bomber game. Also, Braden and Kim were at the Bell MTS Place helping out at the Jets game.
Psst, Brendan.
We're live.
But my page is empty.
It's because we're at the end of the show.
All right. Did you enjoy the show? Be sure to check us out at lrsd.tv.
There you can find all our social media and other information about what goes on behind the cameras at ATC.
Some events that are coming up are the next broadcast of The Connection at November 2nd, the St. Vital Classic volleyball game, the WHSFL championship game, and the SCAC volleyball third place and finals for the varsity boys and girls.
If you have an event that we might want to cover, talk about it with your principal. We're your hosts, Brendan and Logan.
Oh, wait. We can't forget that the aesthetic students of ATC made us look nice and pretty for this broadcast today.
Disconnecting for now.
Reconnect with us next time. Have a good day, everyone.
Test.
Over and over.